Hi everyone, my name is Caitlin and welcome to my channel. Today's video is all about breaking from that autopilot state that a lot of us find ourselves in. I know how easy it is to get lost in that daily routine, but it's important that we start to be intentional about prioritizing ourselves and rediscovering the amazing individuals that we truly are. It's time to take back your life and take control. First things first, it's important to recognize that you are in an autopilot state. Being an autopilot often means going through your day-to-day routine almost mechanically. Are you going through the motions without really feeling present? I feel like a lot of times it's hard for people to recognize they're even in an autopilot state because your mind and your body get so used to this way of living. You may find yourself multitasking, juggling baby duties, juggling duties around the house, and even work responsibilities. This happens to the best of us, but it's important to make sure that you're acknowledging it so that you can start to make a change. I had my son in 2020. And for the last 3 years, I feel like I've been struggling to break out of a autopilot state of mind. For the first 2 years, I feel like I was just going through the motions, not really prioritizing myself. My main focus was just being the best mom that I could be. There were times where I didn't even really know what I was doing. My body just knew the routine and I knew I was getting things done. I wasn't really focused on prioritizing self-care, excelling in my career, or personal growth. None of those things mattered to me. COVID had a lot to do with it too, but even after 2020, I just did not have any interest in doing anything but being a mom. I started realizing that I wasn't happy with my life and knew that something had to change. My next segment is redefining your identity. Our identity is not something that is set in stone, and it's something that is flexible and is always evolving. As a mom, it's so easy to lose sight of yourself, but you have to remember that only you have the power to embrace your purpose and newfound confidence. It's time to embrace your uniqueness and incorporate it into your newfound role. Redefining yourself starts with self-discovery. Journaling is a great way to discover yourself. I would recommend that anyone and everyone get a journal, I'm telling you. I want to encourage you to buy a journal and reintroduce yourself to you. Carve out some time and just take some time alone to just think about your life. As you journal, start asking yourself questions about your dreams, your goals, your interests. For instance, you could ask yourself, what do I want my life to look like in the next 5 years? And if you're having a hard time with answering those questions, I would recommend that you just start off with lists. Make a list of things that make you happy. Make a list of things that you don't like. Make a list of things that you want in your future. And then from there, it will be a lot easier for you to incorporate those other prompts that I mentioned before. I can guarantee you that the more that you take your time to journal each day, it will become easier. During your self-discovery journey, I want to encourage you to be intentional and promise yourself that you will be consistent. This is not an overnight process. It involves you putting in the time to truly get to know yourself. At the end of the day, the only person that can define you is you. So it's important that you take this time to truly get to know yourself so you can stand confident in who you truly are as an individual. I can't speak for all women, but for me, it's like from the day I found out I was pregnant, I could feel it was like brain chemistry or something, like I was changing as a person. So the Caitlin that I was in 2019 and the Caitlin that I am in 2020 was a totally completely different person. So I had to relearn the way I like to do my makeup, because around that time I wasn't even really wearing makeup like that. I had to change my style, figure out what I like to wear, because my old style was just not it. Like I just was not feeling it. And just really get to know this new person that I had become. Okay, I need y'all to say this with me now, moms. Self-care is not selfish, it is essential. As mothers, we often put everyone else's needs before our own, but it's actually important that you prioritize yourself. You're not only benefiting yourself, you're benefiting your family. Start being intentional about making time for the things that bring you joy and just make you feel rejuvenated. Whether that be getting your nails done, going for a walk, going to get your hair done, these are all activities that help rejuvenate your soul. I used to have this mindset where I felt as though if I was taking time to prioritize my needs, I was being a bad mom. And that was obviously mom guilt. I'm telling y'all, mom guilt is the thief of joy. Anything that involved me spending time away from my son made me feel as though I was neglecting my child. If I had plans to go spend time with my friends, I would experience anxiety days before, just thinking about leaving him behind with somebody else. Sometimes I would even talk myself out of hanging out with my friends. I'd be like, I don't need to do it, it's okay, like I'll see them later. It definitely was not healthy, and I had to literally retrain my brain to understand that me prioritizing myself and making time to take time away from him was also benefiting him as well. When moms prioritize self-care, they're basically recharging their emotional and physical battery so that they can come back home and create a more happier environment for their children. Have you noticed that, like, when you have been around your kids day in and day out, you're more agitated, you're more overstimulated, you just do not even want to be around them? But when you take that time to step away and get a breather and you come back, you're like, ah, you know? So it's really important to make sure that you're prioritizing that in your life. I also believe that self-care does not just end with the going to get your nails done and going for walks or pursuing your hobbies. It also involves the way you talk to yourself. Let me explain. So those moments where you feel like maybe you're falling short or you're not doing enough, how are you talking to yourself? How are you managing when you make those mistakes? Are you talking down on yourself, or are you giving yourself grace? I always tell people, the way that you view your child and you see them as this little baby that you're taking care of, that is how you should view yourself as well. Because at the end of the day, you will always have that inner child in you. The negative things that you were saying to yourself, would you say that to little you? Would you say that to baby you? Most people would answer no. So why would you do that to yourself now? That inner child is still there. So it's time that you start to give yourself a little bit more grace and just encourage yourself instead of bringing yourself down. Being a parent is already hard as it is. To have a habit of always talking down on yourself is not going to help. Be mindful of the things that you say to yourself and love yourself. Remember those dreams that you had before becoming a parent? Well, it's time to dust them off and start pursuing them. Also, don't be afraid to start new personal goals. I know it's overwhelming being a parent and having all these responsibilities, but like I said before, start making time for yourself. Start prioritizing those goals that you once had. Your life is destined for so much more. It just takes you putting in the effort and taking the initiative. Whether your goals are big or small, achieving these goals is a huge boost of confidence, and it's very empowering. By pursuing your goals, you're not only inspiring your kids, but you're also gaining a sense of purpose in your life again. Always keep this in the back of your head. God did not bring you to this world to just be a parent. Like, he had more purpose in your life. And stagnancy was just never part of your life. And that was never part of his plan. And you always have to keep that in the back of your mind, that there is purpose in my life and I need to pursue what God brought me into this world to be. As moms, we tend to wear many hats, but that doesn't mean that we can do everything on our own. It's important to ask for help so that your workload is lightened. And by your workload being lightened, then you can take that free time to devote it important to yourself. I had a hard time with this, and I still do, but I'm working on it. I hate asking for help. I remember when I first had my son, anytime someone would offer to help me, my first response would be, no, it's okay. Before I could even process that they were offering to help me. And deep down, I knew I needed help. But I just had this mindset where I felt like as his mother, I had to do everything for him. I also have like a undiagnosed OCD where I need things done my way. Like, for instance, I hate watching people fold towels if it's not how I do it. I can't watch my fiance clean because it just drives me crazy. So I've learned to just let him do his thing and find something else to do. Around that time, I was constantly overwhelmed, and I started realizing that it was my own doing. I eventually realized that I had to let go of that mindset and start asking for help. I had to accept that things are not always gonna be the way I want them to be, and that's okay. As long as the task is getting done, that's all that matters. Moms, we are incredible multitaskers, but it's important to remember that we're individuals with personal goals, dreams, and aspirations. Breaking out of an autopilot state of mind takes time, but it's so worth it. Start today and remember that you have someone over here cheering you on. Until next time, stay beautiful, take care, and keep on rediscovering yourself. Mwah.